I'm Etzion from Haifa, Israel. Today is the 2nd of August 2025. As usual, we start our session with a musical piece. We performed last month in the village which we call Tzipori. It's in the Galilee of Israel. And this is a convent, a cathedral built in the 12th century by the Crusaders. It was ruined and it was dedicated to Santa Anna here. Just double check something. Everything is okay. This is an Israeli piece. It's conducted by our Shiri Kana, our maestro Shiri Kana. She just performed last Thursday. She received the responsibility of conducting the Youth Wind Band of Israel, and on Thursday they performed in the main hall of Jerusalem. A great honor, privilege to be conducted by this exceptional lady, exceptional musician, teaching us music. And she's teaching the youngsters, all of the teenagers, I think most of them. They're selected the musicians of Israel, young musicians. Study one day they will join the higher levels of music, the philharmonic or symphonic orchestra or private or whatever it is, or they will do whatever they will do. And it's quite a real privilege to be taught music by her. We are to put we are adults, we have big egos. And she said it's easier for her to deal with the youngsters than us, because we are very clever, you know. I'll be giving her lots of troubles, but she has lots of forbearance and patience for all of us. Quite remarkable. Okay, I'll continue a little bit with the story of Genesis. Genesis, book of Genesis was dedicated to the creation of states of consciousness. It tells us in the first 3 chapters the creation of the world, its creation of states of consciousness, etc. We spoke about this at length in the beginning. If you wish, it's all on the Zoom archive, whatever you wish. And then we reach now the story of Joseph or Joseph, as you call it. His role was to reestablish the nucleus of the spiritual circle on earth. Talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, Jacob, later his name, when he became God, realized his name was changed to Israel. Israel is a God man. And he gave birth to 12 children. So, getting messages from my wind band through the WhatsApp and on my screen sometimes. Maybe later I would share a little bit. I could start on Thursday. Anyway, Joseph was meant to be the conductor of the symphony of the 12 children of Israel. So it's time to form the nucleus of spiritual circles, so the 12 children of Israel against the 12 children of Ishmael. Ishmael, meaning listen to God, and the children of Israel. Israel is the God man. So the purpose of Ishmael, or the today Arabs, is to protect Israel. They were supposed to form a hedge. This nucleus of rehabilitating humanity will be safe. But this, of course, have never worked even for one moment, unfortunately. Otherwise, the whole world would be transformed. And if we want to complain and blame somebody, complain only it ourselves, because all of us have participated in these efforts, all of us have failed, and we keep on receiving more and more opportunities. It's not what's happening. You just look at the Baba world. I know there is one spiritual circle, the Mandalia or Dir, appreciate and respect and adore all of them. Any person who managed to survive 1 minute next to this impossible being who we call the avatar, you try to train them, speaks about the spiritual circles, and after them, you don't have the continuation of spiritual circles for whatever reason. I don't know, it's simply didn't work out. There's no way to rehabilitate humanity without spiritual circles. It's not going to work. We continue with the reading of Genesis. We're dealing now with the story of Yosef or Joseph. We spoke about this before. I'll continue the reading. There are several generations of great effort and sacrifice. A circle of 12 people has finally formed who are supposed to act in brotherhood and restore the human race to a harmonious activity that unites the opposites. The founding father, Yaakov, himself went through the most arduous mental and spiritual processes until he attained the level of consciousness of Israel. When a person reaches this level, then the image of God is manifested on earth. And this is the purpose of creation. Humankind must establish the spirit of God on earth. Unfortunately for all of us, however, the 10 tribes failed to assimilate in their minds the lofty insights attained by their great father. They're saying the 10 tribes, we'll see why. There was the conductor, there were 12 sons, 12 tribes. 10 of them were opposed to Joseph, the conductor, and the 12 sons, the brother of Joseph, Benjamin, or what you call Benjamin, was quite a shy boy. He was a young man who was hiding in the tent of his father. He didn't allow him to go out. He was afraid something wrong will happen to him. Joseph and Benjamin were the two sons of his beloved wife, Rachel. Actually, we're talking about the 10 tribes. Conductor is Joseph, and Benjamin is appendix. He was supposed to work, but almost all the time, he was behind the scenes. He hardly participates in all this game. But he was part of the musical band, which we call the 12 Tribes of Israel. Talking about musical band, because the musical band, as we witness it, it's the only situation on earth. You can put a few individuals who work together with perfect harmony, otherwise there's no music. And the spiritual circle is something much, much higher than a musical band. They failed to establish in their minds the consciousness of heaven, the consciousness of the spiritual man who sees the purpose of existence in creating divinity on earth. The 10 brothers consider the consciousness of Cain. The earthly men focus on physical achievements as a purpose of life. Yosef, Hevel, disturbs their daily routine by virtue of his personality and visions. His eyes rise up to killing. Yosef is a mirror that reflects our low and ugly mental aspect. Again, Cain rose up on Hevel to kill him. You know the story of Cain and Hevel, or Abel as you call it? Why the translators from Hebrew to other languages change the names, I have no idea, but in my rendition, I'm trying to stick to the Hebrew as much as I can. Hevel also represents the supreme conscience which disturbs the material persons. The conscience that whispers in the human soul that his path is wrong and his actions undesirable. The being who speaks to Adam and Eve, to Cain and every person who has lost his way, is the voice of conscience, which is the voice of God. God himself said that this hidden voice in our consciousness is his voice. But often this sound, this voice is being cluttered by our residues of sanskars, which all the time overwhelm and distort the voice of God. The brothers commit horrific crime. The eldest brother prevents the murder, but in his absence, the other brothers sell Yosef to the Ishmaelites, Midianites. There were a tribe of what we call today nomads or Bedouins, roaming all over the Middle East with their herds. Instance, caravan of merchants from somewhere from Canaan or Mesopotamia, delivering goods, mainly spices, to Egypt. And they just happened to cross next to the 10 tribes of Israel, the They put the brother Yosef in a pit, in an empty well, and then decided to sell him instead of killing him. The mother and brother said, why should we kill him? Let us sell him, at least don't shed his blood, and sell him for 20 shekels. This reminds me when Judas sold the Jews for 20 shekels or something. This figure is coming again and again. And the plan was for the 12 tribes of Israel to work together with the 12 tribes of Ishmael, thus establishing on earth the perfect harmonies like a well-balanced orchestra. In my opinion, the grave picture which was presented here constituted the fate of the people of Israel, the fate of humanity to this day. From time to time, we receive opportunities to break out of the vicious circle we have gotten ourselves into, but we don't have the wisdom to rise above ourselves. In fact, while human beings are constantly engaged in civil wars, exploitation, enslavement, cruelty, we have sunk deeply into division and separateness when we have lost the basic sense that we are all one unity, that the Creator created humankind. Adam, not separate individuals. Adam is singular. God said, let us create Adam. It is one organ. He didn't say, let us create individuals, human, separate individuals. No, it's one organ, one body. It still raises difficult questions about the role of the Father, Yaakov, Israel, the role of the Godhead. Does it exist? These are questions that all thinkers and seekers have grappled with throughout the ages. Later on, we will see that the Torah is trying to offer us solutions. Our fate is in our hands. Question here, how Yaakov, Israel trained his 12 sons for their spiritual mission. So it said in the Torah. You don't know. I'm quoting from the book of Genesis. You can see the different, this different fonts, quotes from the Torah as I was translating to English. They sat down to eat bread. They looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Gilead is like today, it is located in the northern part of the Kingdom of Jordan, the east side of the Jordan River. The camels were loaded with spices, balm, and meal. They were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Yehuda said to his brothers, what will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he's our brother, our own flesh and blood. But to sell him is okay. They were determined to kill him. They were telling them all kinds of prophecies and visions that he see all his brothers bowing to him. So instead of looking at it as a prankster or somebody with, they really developed real animosity and hatred towards him. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites. They took him to Egypt. I think a shekel is 11.5 grams. At the end of the book, I brought the references, the discoveries discovered in the excavations in Jerusalem, ancient shekels. When Reuven returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, Reuven was the elder of the 12 sons. he was responsible for them before his father. He tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't here. Where can I turn now?" Then they got Yosef's coat, slaughtered the goat, and dipped the coat in the blood. They took the coat of many colors back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's coat." Recognize and say, "It is my son's coat. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Yaakov tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "No," he said, "in mourning will I go down to the grave to my son." His father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites put Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. He also was responsible. Remember, it was said Sarah Tabachim. Tabachim is a tabach, is a cook, also a slaughterer. He was responsible also for killing the animals, also killing people. That was his position. Very high position in the court of the king. But Joseph was sold to him as a slave. Joseph is a member of the Yahweh Elohim circle, and he is under the supervision of the members of this circle. Even without his knowledge, he is supposed to carry out a vital task for the continuation of mankind's existence. He must undergo humiliation and suffering so that he can understand his ignorant brethren and help them. As we shall see, we realize that there is a limit to what can be inflicted on him. This phenomenon that there are people protected by their higher powers while other people suffer badly raises troubling questions. We will observe this phenomenon throughout the stories of the Torah and the stories of the prophets that follow. Principle, no one has special dispensation, but there are special situations critical to the continuation of life on earth that requires special care for those people who give their lives for humanity. There are four main characters at work in our story: Yaakov Israel, 10 brothers, Yosef, and Yahweh Elohim. This is four participants of the story. Till the end of Genesis, the father of the nation appears in the name of Yaakov and Israel alternately. Often in the same sentence, Yaakov symbolizes the state of consciousness that Yaakov reached by his own strength. He acts under the inspiration of his great ancestors, especially Abraham, whose consciousness was united with the consciousness of Yahweh Elohim. Abraham's avatar became back, supreme individuals who help humanity. In the past, we discussed the cosmic engine. I will show it to you again at the end of this talk. It explains, this simple diagram explains the whole story of humankind. Yahweh Elohim, also call it the fraternity of the masters. All this with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the women, all of them belong to this circle. And actually, the leader of this circle wish that all of us, all humankind, will join the circle. Very simple condition. We don't keep any grudge within our subconscious mind. You don't have to be perfect. Any beginner can do it. Any person, even the worst criminal. You don't keep a grudge. Automatically we join in. Israel constitutes the same state of consciousness, but this state is bestowed upon the person by the divine hierarchy. The person is ripe for this. So the person who has reached the level of Israel receives cosmic consciousness. This is called realization. Israel is actually a God realized person. He knows what the divine plan is, the reason and purpose of creation. When he observes a person, when he observes a person, he knows what his problems are, what his past is from the moment of his appearance in creation, and where he will go. If this is the case, then these chapters raise questions about the Yaakov Israel's behavior. How did he educate his sons? Does he not know what his mission is to establish the basis for the establishment of the system that will restore the human race? Of course he did. Then how did he educate his sons? This story shows the hard fall into jealousy, which propels them to aspire murdering their brother, whose task has been to conduct the divine orchestra. And if it was the state of Israel's all-knowing one, he didn't know what happened to Yosef. He did. So why he was mourning, tore his clothes? He knew that the failure of his sons will cause the failure of the children of Israel to accept the Torah later on. This is the root cause. Failure of humankind, all of us, to form a body of humanity, a family, to work together with love and harmony, etc. This we failed to do. It's not working. Only very small pockets here or there or there. The Torah brings several stories about the children of Yaakov, and not from a favorable aspect. Levi and Shimon killed the people of Shechem, the Nablus, for raping their sister. Reuven, the elder brother, slept with his father's wife. Yehuda, who slept with the widow of his son, Tamar, in chapter 38, we didn't include. And now the story with the 10 brothers who have no second thought about actually committing murder. Okay, we stop here till the next time. Much. After this, I wanted to share a tour of the Baha'i Gardens in Haifa. It's a World Heritage, one of the most spectacular sites in Israel. The Baha'i movement was formed in the 19th century by the Bab, who was presumed a spiritual advance soul. The Parsi historians at that time executed him for, he was a kafir in Arabic, they speak Arabic, of course, in Persia. If you declare yourself as a prophet or something after Muhammad, it's not allowed. He was the last prophet. Nobody else can declare him as a prophet of advanced soul. Most likely would accept the Rabbi and the masters, all of them as heretics, put to death. So they executed the Bab, and shattered his bones and threw it to I don't know what they did, they threw it to the ocean, and but these Algerians managed to save some of his remains, which are buried in Haifa. I'll show you the location of this, which is quite an incredible place. The site of the Baha'i movement. And this is a tour of the gardens, which we are going to entertain. These are the gardens. This is where I think the main temple. It's a very big location, very whole entire slope of the mountain. They built the whole thing. There's some of the most incredible gardens of the world. There was something. It's they made this presentation, presumably they took an airplane or helicopter. But that's how big it is, all these temples. We are driving often. I know the place, of course. I have been there in the past. If you happen to come to Haifa, it's a must visit. Open to the public for going around. I don't think, because it's an amazing temple, I don't think it's permitted for non-Baha'i people to enter it. There is a special sect, or religious sect, and I understood when you reach the age of 13 or 14, they ask you if you want to join the Baha'i religion. You have to decide yes, no. If you want to join it, they presumably start very spiritual training. Understood they don't accept converts, so you cannot convert to Baha'ism or whatever you call it. So I understood. Didn't get into it too much. If you want to, you can make a search. The Baha'i movement and see what it is about. Quite amazing. Okay. You've seen it already? Amazing. Haifa is quite a beautiful place. It's being located on the Carmel Mountain, and we have the harbor of Haifa Harbor, which initially was carried by the British when they conquered the land of Israel or Palestine at that time from the Ottoman Empire during 1917, etc. From story. And I believe we'll continue next week, if so you wish. Stop the recording.